Look, everyone and their mother wants to make more money. Everyone talks about ways to make more money online or what business to start to get rich. But there's one thing that pretty much no one is talking about. 78% of professional athletes, they go broke within just a few years, within 3 years in fact. And 70% of lottery winners lose everything within just a few years. So as you can see, it's great to make a lot of money for sure. But it's one thing to make a lot of money, and yet it's another thing to keep your money, to stay rich. And that's the big difference between old money and new money. Old money knows not only how to make a lot of money, but they also know how to keep it. I know that I post a lot of fancy stuff on my Instagram, but in reality, I downplay my lifestyle a lot. What has allowed me to be where I am today and to live this sort of life, it's not luck or natural talent. That's why in this video, I want to share with you the 7 financial habits that are keeping you poor. And not only that, but I'm also going to share with you what you can do instead to build great wealth. And if you stay with me until the end of the video, I have a gift for you. The first habit that is keeping you poor is focusing on appearances and overspending. A lot of people are probably going to relate to what I'm about to say. I really used to think that if I wanted to be loved and appreciated by others, then I had to be rich and successful. I thought that by achieving the extraordinary, surely that would make people respect me more, and by extension love me more. For a very long time, I was overly focused on appearances and I wanted to appear perfect because I was terrified of rejection deep down. So I would spend money on stuff that didn't really matter to me, just so I could impress other people and get their validation. There's a reason why people overspend or become shopping addicts. Usually it's because they're trying to fill a void, and because they don't see their own value. They think that if they buy lots of expensive stuff that we consider valuable in our society, then by extension, they will become more valuable in the eyes of others. But in reality, that's not how things work. The day I stopped caring about what other people thought of me is the day that I became free, because I realized that I can do whatever I want without having to constantly worry about how other people are going to perceive me, what they're going to think of me, if they're going to judge me or not. A lot of people, especially young men in their 20s, they really want to succeed and to make it big because they think that if they wear nice clothes and if they get out of a supercar, everyone automatically is going to love them and respect them. Or worse, they think it's going to help them to find love. However, in reality, when you get out of a supercar or you post expensive and fancy stuff on Instagram and you're in your 20s, 99% of the time, people are just going to assume it's your parents' money, not yours. They're going to think that you didn't earn your success. And while that might be true for some people, it wasn't my case, and it also wasn't the case for a lot of successful people. In my opinion, one of the worst things that you can do, and especially if you don't have much money, is to spend your money on things that you don't even like, that you don't even use or enjoy, just to increase your perceived value in the eyes of people that you don't even know. The day that you fully realize that nobody cares, it will free you. Now, another financial habit that is keeping you poor is using the wrong vehicle. And by vehicle, I don't mean what type of car you drive, I mean what type of money-making opportunity you are using. You could have a 9-to-5 job as a waiter that qualifies as a money-making opportunity. Or you could be running your own online business. That's also a money-making opportunity. The thing that you need to realize is that not all money-making opportunities are equal. I personally have never heard of people becoming millionaires or multi-millionaires only thanks to their job as a waiter at the restaurant. However, I've seen countless people become millionaires, even multi-millionaires, in just a few short years thanks to starting an online business. Now, truthfully, starting a business, it's not made for everyone. Some people are not willing to take risks, and they enjoy the stability that having a job brings, because at the end of the month, they get a paycheck. So if you're fine at trading wealth and freedom for security and stability, then go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Nor am I saying that it's wrong. We can't all be business owners, we can't all be entrepreneurs. However, if you are still watching this video by now, I'm assuming that it's probably because you want to obtain more out of life. Deep down, you know that you have the potential to achieve so much more. And you also know that you deserve to experience the best things that life has to offer. And let me tell you, you are damn right. Some businesses are also better than others. To give you an example, 99% of the time, starting a dropshipping business, it's a terrible idea. And in fact, it's not going to make you money, for most people at least. It's going to make you lose a lot of money, however. You've got to understand that even if you're successful at it, with a business like dropshipping, your margins are razor thin, like hovering around 5%. So if you wanted to make even just $10,000 a month, you would need to sell hundreds of products every single month. This means that you have to convince hundreds of people to pay you every single month. And believe me, it's a very tough thing to do. Now, what if you only had to deal with a handful of customers a month? Let's say, what if you could get paid $10,000 a month just for handling 5 customers? Wouldn't it be a much better deal? Wouldn't it be easier to convince 5 people to sign up with you as opposed to hundreds of people? If you want to discover what's the best online business to start for beginners, I have recorded a free video in which I analyze every popular business model to figure out which one is the best. The link is in the description below if you're interested. Now, another financial habit keeping you poor is paying yourself last. If you read some financial books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you might have heard of the concept of paying yourself first. Paying yourself first simply means deducting as many things as possible, as many expenses as possible from the business tax that you will have to pay. For instance, if you're traveling, could you find a way to write it off as a business expense? The thing is that most jurisdictions, they declare that your business is a separate entity from you entirely. And while this can offer an extra layer of protection in the case of a lawsuit, for instance, this also means that the money that you make through your business, it's not directly your money, technically speaking. What I mean is that if you wanted to buy a beautiful villa for yourself and for your family, you can't actually do that directly with your business money. Unless you live in Dubai, but hey, that's another story. You'll need to pay yourself a salary or dividends so that you can use your money to make personal purchases and to buy whatever you want. Usually, it's a much better option to opt for dividends as opposed to paying yourself a salary each month. Usually, dividends are taxed on a flat rate, meaning for instance, you will pay 30% and then you won't have to pay more taxes again on top of that. Whereas with a salary, most of the time you'll have to pay a lot more taxes than just that. You'll have to pay employment-related taxes, retirement-related taxes, and then again on top of that, income tax. So that's the thing, if you don't have a business, you can't actually pay yourself first, you're actually paying yourself last because it's the only option. Taxes are automatically deducted from your salary and there's nothing you can do about it. And talking about taxes and all, the other financial habit that is keeping you poor, it might actually surprise you a bit. Taking on debt, even if it's what investors call good debt, it can actually keep you poor. Borrowing to invest in real estate or in your own education, in a small business, it's usually considered good debt because you're investing the money that you're borrowing in an asset that can improve your finances in the future. However, I know that personally, I would not be able to sleep peacefully at night if I had debts, even if it's considered good debts by experts. The more debts you have, the less freedom you have. You always need to think, what's the worst case scenario if I cannot pay my debt back? In business, you need to be willing to take risks. I'll grant you that. But it doesn't mean that you should make reckless decisions and take risks just for the sake of taking risks. Wise business people and investors take smart, calculated risks. I like to say that it's only risky to invest in something or to start a business when you have no clue what the hell you're doing, when you haven't done your research beforehand. Education, coupled with massive action, is the key to everything you want in life. Now, another financial habit that is preventing you from getting to the next level of wealth is not optimizing your finances to lower your tax bill. Taxes are most likely the biggest expense you will have throughout your lifetime. Every time you purchase something, you're also taxed. The same applies to making money. Every time you make money, you're taxed, unless you live in Dubai. That's why you should try to find legal ways to lower your tax bill as much as possible, because the money that you don't have to pay in taxes, you can instead invest it in building new assets or growing your existing assets, therefore growing your wealth. If you have a business, seek out accountants, lawyers to figure out how you can pay less taxes and optimize your business's finances. Now, if you're not making that much money at the moment with your business, you shouldn't worry about fiscal optimization for now. What you should focus on instead is making more money, growing your business. When you start to make big money, then it will become interesting to seek out the advice of professionals to help you optimize your finances as much as you can. Another financial habit that is keeping you poor is that you are relying on one single income stream. The average millionaire has 7 income streams. Having multiple streams of income is great because if one of them fails for whatever reason, you still have other sources of income. Whereas if you only make money through your job, if you lose your job or if you quit your job, then you have no more money coming in, and that can be very stressful to live. To give you different examples, income streams could be stock market investments, real estate investments, revenue from your business, revenue from affiliate deals, partnerships, and much more. Now, I have to issue a warning. I don't recommend that you try to grow multiple income streams at the same time. It's like learning a new language or a new instrument. You can definitely speak multiple languages or play different instruments if that's your goal. However, I would really advise against trying to learn more than one instrument at a time or more than one language at a time. The same applies to finances and to business in general. I would personally focus on building one income stream at a time, and only when I can hire and delegate the work to other people will I start building another income stream, and I highly suggest you do the same. The reason why so many people fail in business, it's not necessarily because they don't have enough time, enough money, or enough resources to invest in their business. It's usually either because they're focusing on the wrong thing, so this means that no matter how much effort they put into their craft, they will never get the desired results. Or this can mean that they're focusing on too many things at the same time, and that's a real problem, because if you're trying to do 10 things at the same time, you'll become good at none of them. Imagine if Michael Jordan was trying to compete in 10 different sports at the same time. He wouldn't be the basketball legend that he is today, I can guarantee that. So pick one thing and stick with that one thing until you get what you want. Then when you get to a certain level, you can hire people and delegate parts of the work, which will allow you to build other income streams. Now, another financial habit that is keeping you poor is delaying investing. I know, you'll often hear me criticize the people who claim that you should invest $200 a month in the stock market and maybe one day you'll be able to finally enjoy life and have $1 million or $2 in the bank. In my opinion, for most people, having a few rental units, it's not going to make them rich. However, if you make a lot of money with your online business, you can take some of your profits and invest them in the stock market. So the money that would otherwise have been losing money in your bank account if it's just sitting there, because with inflation, year after year, your money is valued less. While if you invest it in the stock market, year after year, it is going to gain value, making you richer. You've got to ask yourself, who benefits from inflation? Asset owners, because the worth of their assets is only going to keep increasing. So this means that the more assets you own, the richer you become, naturally, without having to do any extra work. A good goal to have is to invest some of the profits made with your business in the stock market. That way, you can live off of your dividends. They can completely pay for your lifestyle. This means that even if at some point, for whatever reason, you have a bad business month, your lifestyle and your monthly expenses, they will be covered either way by your stock market investments. Now, technically, you don't have to only invest in the stock market. Sometimes real estate can be a good investment, actually, and some people even decide to invest in collector cars or luxury watches. Either way, if you are about to invest in something, you better make sure you know what you're doing. I've heard lots of people say that investing is risky, but in my opinion, the biggest risk is actually not taking any risks. And to be completely honest, I believe that it's only when you don't know what you're doing that it's risky. If you do your research beforehand, you should be able to get a good return on your investment. That said, I would advise you not to worry about investing in the stock market or in real estate or in high-end watches or anything like that, in crypto maybe, before you actually make a substantial amount of money with your business or with your career. Now, if you're interested in starting an online business but you don't exactly know what to do, I have recorded a free video in which I analyze every popular business model to discover which one is the best to start for beginners. The link is in the description below if you're interested. And with that said, I am waiting for you on the other side.